how this is all going to react. Severe weather delays in Kentucky.
Yo, that's pretty sick.
First step of the skid swappery here. Basically, we're getting into part 2 of the whole build series here. Skid swappery, first thing I gotta do, get this thing off of the wheels. I'm gonna pull some idler wheels out so that everything is neutral. When I put this skid in and start remeasuring everything, the idlers will be out of this as well. Just try to keep apples to apples and measure in the same fashion as much as we can. So I'm gonna get the sled positioned, mark the floor so it stays in the same spot for all the measurements, and then start measuring bumper height, front and rear, pick a point that's gonna stay the same regardless, measure to those, measure running board heights, just start measuring a bunch of stuff, recording that all down, pull the skid out, and then compare that. I gotta put some shocks into this, set the springs up and all that, and measure some torque arm stuff, skid to skid on the ground next to each other. Record all that, basically just start doing some measurements. So I'll time lapse the hell out of this stuff. We're gonna leave this Pro-CC in stock form, stock torsion, stock rear arm, link rods, torque rods, however you wanna call them. Put the front shock in, all that stuff. So that way, if anyone else down the road is doing this, and I do make plates to sell and blah, 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 if you have a stock one and you don't have high gear linkage stuff, it's all gonna be stock to stock, swapping it in. Once everything's located, it'll be just like we had a Polaris and we had a stock skid in it, and then we were upgrading it with long tails and high gear. So once everything's mounted and made with this in stock form, I'll put all the parts and the ice age rail and all that stuff together, and then we'll stuff it back in. But first things first, off the wheels, mark the floor, start measuring, let's get into it.
Buddy, I don't think it's supposed to be like that.
Belt drive installed, right? Doesn't look like it, but it is. That's in there. Hitting the microphone with the blanket here. Before I go ahead and continue on with putting the track back in, the driver and all that, I'm gonna test fit the Pro-CC skid, bolt that into the front, let the back of the sled down, and get a rough, very rough idea, riff-raff. Again, I need a sign. Very rough idea on where back here the rear torque arm is gonna go, so then I can pull the skid back out, get up under here, make a quick little template of the inside that I can then transfer to the metal and all that without the track and all the stuff in the way. But first, I'm gonna move some of this stuff around, clean this up back here so I can use my folding table and assemble the Pro-CC with the shocks real quick and get that together as it's gonna be. And then we're gonna get on to test fitting that stuff. So we'll, yeah, just gonna get into it. Let's go. I don't even know what he's doing, shocks and stuff. What are you doing?
I got to pull the hood off to do this even.
Yeah, you gotta pull a hood off to do anything. He gonna learn today. Let's fire this up, get her out of the way. Whoop, 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 whirr. Woo! That's not bad. Wow. Got our brandy new shocks from Andy here. Mr. Wenzlaff Performance. We got to throw our front track shock spring onto this guy here and then into the skid. Not going to show any of that because it's just putting that Pro-CC together, which we've done in other videos and whatnot. And also, you're probably cat guys, so you probably don't care too much about that. Or maybe you do. I don't know. Got the skid all put together here with the new shocks in it. It's all assembled as it should be. Stuff's loose. This bolt's a little bit long, but it's one that I had on hand. So, you know, none of that stuff is super tight because it's all going to come apart to have the Ice Age rails put on anyway. But it's all ready to go and stuff it in the sled and start some mock-up stuff. But I was looking at this. Anyone ever seen these? I've never seen this before. I don't know if someone cut this groove into the slide or if you can buy them like this, but it has this wear indicator strippy thing pushed into it, which is pretty sweet. I've never seen that. What are these? Did somebody make this, or is this something that you can go and buy? What do we got going on here? Let me know about that. Had both skids here sitting on the ground. Can you see me through there? Probably. Both of them over here, measured a bunch more stuff. It's looking pretty good. The Polaris skid is actually 1/8 of an inch lower on the front arm mount. So ground to the center right here, from ground to the center on the Cat 1, we're 1/8 of an inch lower, which is, it's substantial, but I don't think it's gonna be too bad. We're just gonna stuff this in here. Like I said, get an idea of where we're at with the rear arm mounting in this pocket region here. So I'll cut these zip ties, I'll lay on here, I'll push it up, get some bolts in, and then we'll let it down and see where we're at. Let's see, can we just, oh yeah. Oh yeah. They had those stupid TS skis. Let's see how good my measurements were. Oh. Oh, bang on. Look at that. Yeah, I'll need some custom ones.
Yeah, the tunnel's a little wider, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's not an 1/8 on each side. Actually, I'll tell you, but I'm going to edit it out so people can't steal my shit. I'm not perfectly in line with my lines, but fully topped out.
So yeah, so that.
As it would be without sag. Hang on here.
Yep.
I was gonna say, I thought I was pretty accurate. I went too low. Hang on.
You're sitting on the ground. This hole here was close to the hole in the center of that
Yeah.
pipe.
Yeah.
Fairly close,
right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just hoping that this was gonna be more in this pocket. It's like barely right there, so we have to trim this a little bit. Yep. Which isn't a big deal because I can get, yeah, I can't really do what I even wanted to do there. What do you think of my template, my first rendition? We're gonna pull the torque arm ahead just a whisker to get into that little bolt hole there. Not so bad. And then we'll just have this bolted down here with a nicer one just to finish and tie the running board and everything in. But we'll be down to here, and then a big one here, and all up to here, and these guys here, and then our one there, and yeah. The only other kind of concern is that the skid it seems to be slightly farther forward than the other one. So with the axle, we may not have enough track take up, especially since the other Cat skid had 8-inch wheels in it. So I have everything on hand from Avid, Andy over at Avid Products, 1-inch offset axle with 9-inch wheels. So worst case Ontario, we're gonna just run the axle, offset axle, backwards to take up the extra slack and kind of handle all of that. The rail tip is close on the driver up there, but luckily on this, the drivers are inboard of the rails. So like rail here, driver is inset, and they can all travel and clear past all that stuff. We're getting there. What do you think?
Make another one. Bolt it up.
Cool. Yeah.
Copy that one.
Right, so basically I gotta go copy that one. I have that all drawn up. I just gotta cut it in the bandsaw again. And then I'll probably do the brake and everything. I'll probably just cut that and finish that plate tonight.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we'll do the track back in, we'll do the brake and the whole drive shaft and everything assembled in there. And then with the track and everything in, we'll stuff the skid back in, bolt it all in with still just this and all that and these templates here with just these factory 2 screws. We won't drill everything else yet.
Yep.
And then see what we got for track tension and all that stuff. And yeah, plugging along, making actually pretty good progress so far. Just see, as long as we keep that momentum, we'll be in good shape. I think I got one template here. I got two. Not even templates. These are the briquettes. We got a couple briquettes. They need more holes. They need more fixins. Once we get on here, we got to punch some more holes. But before I actually add holes to the chassis, these have enough in them right here to get them bolted in, get the skid bolted completely in, and test it basically in terms of setting it on the ground on its own weight. I'll stick the muffler back in and probably the clutch sitting in the other side and put the hood back on and whatnot. Maybe I won't, I don't know. Either way, these are all set to bolt in with two little bolts there, bolt the skid into the back, bolt the front. Basically you gotta pull this apart, throw the track in it, bolt these in, and then put the skid back into it. It's lining up pretty well. It's a little bit closer than I thought it was gonna be to the upper like bracket on the chassis. So we're gonna end up putting just a whisker of preload, like 1/8 of an inch of preload into that rear torque arm to get it to line up with the holes where I want. That way I don't have to do any like beveling or trimming of the lower bracket down here. We can just bolt it in. In R motions, you have to put a little bit of preload on them. The high gear linkage, once that goes in, you generally have that little stopper bolt because that will overcam. So that has a little bit of preload on it anyway. So it's kind of standard at this point. But yeah, these are all set. This upper hole here actually locates on a rivet for the running board. So this is a locator hole. These two will be punched out on the chassis side eventually. They're currently like just slightly smaller than these. But these locate hole, put those two in. And yeah, so enough rambling. Pull the skid back out, pull the driver back out, slide the track in, driver back in to there, put the brake assembly back on, and the track should be in for good. And then I'll start punching in some holes on this side of the tunnel here. I'll put it back up with everything out. I'll drill this one here, and then I'll drill these. This one I'll drill from the inside. These I will drill from the outside, and then I'll put my template back in and mark all of them. I'm a little, not necessarily frazzled, but my mind is on all of this process, not communicating it to you guys. So that's why I'm a little bit scrambled. I'm gonna get back to work here. I'll leave the camera there and time lapse some of this process. I didn't time lapse me fabricating the little panels or brackets, whatever. I'm getting back to work because I'm flowing, I'm moving, and I'm gonna keep the momentum going. So, gonna get into it. It's in. Gonna need the 9-inch wheel flipped backwards to take up the track slack like I was thinking. And then hopefully that is back far enough to clear the coupler right here. That will probably be fine looking at it right now. But also we don't know exactly how this is all gonna react. So we might need to run the coupler up a position or two, which will take up some more space and give more clearance around the wheel, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's in. All the mounts are working exactly where I want them to be. The front bumper height right now, without the muffler, without the clutches, without the hood, all that stuff, is currently 1/4 of an inch higher than it was before. And the back of the sled, I've raised up 1/2 of an inch compared to before as well. Kind of do a little bit of roll axis change there, and then the Polaris skids love to wheelie, even more so than that 129 seemed to. In my memory and what I've been riding the last few years and back to back and knowing all that. So with that, I wanted to keep the sled hopefully under throttle a little bit more planted and keep a little bit more ski pressure. We'll see if that works out the way I think it's going to. I could be way off there, but this is all a big experiment. So I'm excited to see how this goes, but all of this has come out quite a bit better and not necessarily easier, but it's all working pretty well. So I just got to go and start adding my holes in the back here. Pull the skid out, disassemble the skid, swap it over to the Ice Age rails, put the big wheel kit in it, all that good stuff. I'll paint these brackets for now once the holes and everything are done and in. Paint them black, bolt them in, then we got a bunch of stuff to get powder coated after we kind of proof of concept this thing and ride it, make sure it all works. Pull a bunch of stuff apart again, powder coat it, put it all back together. So those will get powder coated down the road. Yeah, I'm kind of rambling. I don't know how much more I'm gonna do tonight. I've made a lot of progress in one day. We got a lot done. The belt drive is back on. Well, the whole case is assembled and all that stuff. And then all of this is pretty well sorted. So again, a lot done in one day. I'm probably gonna go ahead and just yank the skid back out, leave this sled up on the lift, and then be ready to go with disassembly and adding more holes and bolting the plates in and all that. Now that I say that, it would be nice to have the plates done tonight so that the paint dries so that it can all go back together tomorrow. So all the holes in the tunnel are done. No major grinding. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10 holes that you drill out. No, 8 new ones and then 4 existing. You just got to go from like, they're 1 step under 1/4 inch, whatever that is. Brains fried. Going through getting all my hardware sorted here for all the new stuff to bolt the brackets in. So that paint is almost dry on those. Gonna slam those things in, tighten them all up with our fancy new hardware here, all stainless and yellow phosphate coated and stuff, corrosion resistant, new flanged nylocks, all the good stuff. Almost done with that, almost done in here tonight, wrapping that up. And then tomorrow will be skid swappery between the rails and all that stuff, big wheel kit, and then slam that in. That's crazy, my phone cut me off, stopped recording because the storage is full. Not good. Now I gotta spend a bunch of time deleting all kinds of video footage that I haven't deleted yet to fill this there, open this back up, whatever. See you in the morning. So, hopefully this stays up here and doesn't come falling off of here. It's kind of only half on the bench. This isn't great. Whatever. Time to swap this rear axle, put in the Avid Products axle, 1-inch offset with the big 9-inch wheels. Instead of running the axle in the normal orientation forward, we're gonna be running it up and rearward to take up that extra track slack we've got in there. This is freaking me out. I feel like it's gonna fall. Throw these on into the skid, test fit again, make sure we can take up our track slack appropriately, pull the skid back out, pull the springs off, front torque arm, back torque arm, put it back in, run it through a full compression sweep front to back, make sure we're all good to go there. Then we'll pull it out and then strip this whole skid apart, put the new rails on, everything back together, all the high gear stuff, all the long tails. Then we'll put it back in for good. So that's what I'm doing now. Really late start today. Went with my buddy Dave, helped him pick up his new sled. He also got a Skidoo 1200 because everyone's starting to smarten up and realize that the Skidoo 1200 in the XS chassis was the best sled they ever made. So got him one of those. He's good to go. And now I'm back to work. So let's get into it. All right, slightly unfortunate update. I'm gonna keep putting tools away while I'm talking at you here. The 9s are too big, which is just unfortunate because man, they look really cool in there. Just with the positioning of everything, the stock 7 1/4 or 7 1/8 or whatever the hell the stock wheels are, too small, can't take up the slack. I had everything here on hand as I showed you, all this stuff, Andy's axle and Andy's wheels. Unfortunately, just too big. Couldn't even get the track and everything pushed back enough to get into the front hole that we're using in the tunnel. So that's a bummer. We got to go with a 1/2-inch offset axle and 8-inch wheels, split the difference, and then we should be right on the money with that. That'll give us proper adjustment to still run that 1/2-inch offset backwards. That should work fine. So I got to go ahead, order that stuff up, make a call to TKI tomorrow, get all that ordered up. I'm going to use TKI's axle, I believe. I got to go look around a little bit now and figure that out. But pretty sure we're going to use TKI 1/2-inch offset axle, and then again the Avid wheels from Andy over there. So yeah, bummer, dude. The 9s were going to be really cool, and I thought I was going to be flying and have this thing all back together midday tomorrow and done. But nope. That's the way it goes. If it were easy, everybody would do it, but it's not. And this is the way it goes. I'm kind of at that point of like, I'm that confident the 8s at this point will work. I wanted to like just blast this apart and put all that stuff in it tomorrow anyway. But the smart move is to do some other preseason work. So I'll rearrange this stuff, bring in a preseason sled, knock that out tomorrow morning. And then I can putter and do some other stuff and put the remainder of the belt drive and everything back together and get that done tomorrow. And then Tuesday morning, the next day, aired expensive shipping stuff will be here. And then I can go back to this. Ah, man, that's a bummer. It's just a really big womp, womp, wah type moment. Back at it on the cat project over here with the Pro-CC skid and whatnot. Elbert's backing one out. Don't pay any attention to that. Didn't really sleep last night. The whole wheel size, offset axle, track tension thing is bugging me. Because if I can't figure something out there, then I'm really screwed and I got to redo all the mounting stuff. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Either way, I couldn't sleep and I'm like, how can I test this before I order another axle and wheels and all this stuff and overnight and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, my old Edge chassis has 8-inch wheels on it. So I'm going to take the 8s. We got 8s here. I pulled 2 off of that, the 2 outers, and do just the same thing I did last night with a test fit of putting 2 wheels on the inside of the axle here and test fitting that. Now this is still a 1-inch offset axle, so it's not the right axle to use with 8-inch wheels, right? We could run that, but it will shave the back end of the slide right off because of the upward tension on it all the time. But for the sake of testing it, if the 8s on the 1-inch axle get us in a good spot where we can get the skid back in and bolt it in and the track tension slightly adjusted, then I know going with another 1/2-inch offset in the right direction with the axle, I'll be wherever I'll be. I can guesstimate. If you're picking up what I'm putting down here, this will give me a rough idea of whether or not the 1/2-inch axle with the 8s is going to be right on the money or if that's going to be really close on one end of the tension or whatever. Slap this together into the axle or into the skid again, into the sled, test fit, confirm, get on the phone, parts order, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into it. Okay, good news. Front torque arm is in. We've got plenty of slack right there. So I gotta get the rear mount in and then pick the back up and tension it because we're gonna lose 1/2 inch on the axle. So I think as tight as this is with the adjuster bottomed out, I think we're gonna be perfect bang on the money, which does add up since the cat skid had 8-inch wheels. And where I've located everything on paper, should be pretty close using the same 8-inch wheels to get roughly into the middle of our adjuster. So I think we're on the right track, but a couple more little steps here, tighten all that up, make sure it's good to go. And then as soon as TKI opens up, get on the phone and get some stuff overnighted so that I can keep assembling this so that we can go test it this weekend. So you can see it's dark in here. Power's out, which is not great for me or Albert or anyone in here. Yeah, we get like a dusting of snow and someone loses their and just into a pole or something. So that's great. Hopefully, I think they said it'd be back on around noon. Yeah, so we got a morning of darkness here, you know, which fits with the quote that I put in yesterday. Nope, that was a different video. Never mind. Yeah, well, at least we've got things like this, so we can do this number. Love that. Well, we got some light here with things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put a headlamp on and continue with the clutching over there. I really don't know what video this is going to go in now that I'm thinking about it. So I'm putting the primary clutching and stuff together. Maybe this will go in the turbo video. Maybe it'll go in the skid swap. Maybe it'll go in all 3. Maybe it'll go in the belt drive at the end. I don't know. But either way, we got a morning with no power. So today's agenda, put the clutching back together. Secondary's done. Our base calibration there. Primary base calibration. I talked with Will yesterday. We got that all sorted and where we're going to start and see what that gets us. Throw the primary back together and then go on to swapping the rails of the skid, which won't be too bad with my light up on the lift and then a headlamp. Yeah, we're gonna work in the dark, get it done, you know? That's the way it goes. Great news, power's back on. So now I can get on to doing the skid here. I did the clutches, got all those back together. UPS is killing me. The axle is not gonna be here today, it'll be tomorrow. Severe weather delays in Kentucky, allegedly. Well, that is what it is. I can't control that. I can say thank you to TKI, shout out to them. I called them, explained that I needed 1/2-inch axle and 8-inch wheels and ran them through the whole scenario and everything. Jen was incredible. She went, checked on parts availability, had it packaged up, got it out yesterday, same day, overnighted, everything that I asked for. So huge shout out to them for, you know, just getting that done this time of year, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, all that stuff. I appreciate them scrambling and getting that going. UPS dropped the ball, but that's okay. We'll get that in tomorrow. We'll get it here tomorrow, get it in the skid, get the skid back in, just puts us back kind of half a day type thing. So that's not too big of a deal. I have plenty of other stuff I can do in the meantime, but today, skid swappery, get that done, and then there's no point in me updating, rambling about what I'm gonna do engine, turbo kit stuff-wise, because I'll put that in the turbo kit video. So that's that. I'm gonna dig into doing the skid here. I'll time-lapse some of this. I've done skid rebuilds on the channel before, Polaris-wise, Pro-CC-wise, way back. Jesse James has a whole video on rail swapping with Ice Age stuff, with his partnership and all that stuff. So those videos are out there. I'll put Jesse's in the description if you guys are looking for like a whole how-to type deal of it, but you basically disassemble and reassemble. So that's that. Time lapse, get that done, off we go. Let's get into it. Okay, we got a couple seconds here before he starts making some more noise. Back at it on the skid assembly action here. Front torque arm is in, long tail mounting hole is drilled. Rear arm is mostly in, got to do the shock and the torque rods and all that stuff. UPS should be here probably an hour, hour and a half with the rear axle. And then I'll have this thing all buttoned up. I got to cut the slides to length and all that good stuff. So I'm going to keep plugging away on this. We'll go back to time lapse. And then we'll go to some other stuff when it's in and all that. So let's keep going. Focus, focus. Let's do this. So things like those big old edges there, where I don't know if you know if this was drilled or punched out. That bothers me. Got to get the old countersink. Give those a chamfer, you know, so your bolt sits nice and flush. The bolt would draw in anyway, but this is just the right way, you know. Almost 6 o'clock. UPS, or basically it's 6 o'clock. UPS just got here, just left. They dropped off TKI 1/2-inch offset axle, a couple more Avid 8-inch wheels. So now I can finish buttoning up the rest of the skid here. This ratchet strap you see is to keep this assembled, because with the high gear linkage, it will overcam if you don't have a retainer pin in the bottom of this gull wing bracket. If you put the retainer pin in to get it into the sled and do all that, then you have to fight and get these idler wheels in the sled with the track in the way and less space, and it really sucks. That process just flat out sucks. There's not a lot of room. It's just a miserable process getting those idlers back in there once it's in the sled and all that. So I do it on the bench, throw a ratchet strap around the top of the shock here, over to that, pull it forward so it can't overcam. I also have to ratchet strap this anyway, that little 1/8 of an inch we were talking about when we were making our mounts. So this, as it sits, should be really close to dropping it in. Maybe you have to tighten it up, maybe you have to loosen it, whatever. But this will keep it from overcamming and being way far back. And I don't have to deal with the pin once it goes in. So, onto the axle, pull this apart, grease everything, Loctite the living hell out of these bolts, keep the grease off of where the Loctite needs to set. Loctite won't set with grease. Blast this in, skid in, track tension, blah, 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 bolt it in. I got new hardware. We'll touch on that in a bit. I'm gonna slap this together and we'll keep rolling. Oh, hell yeah. Skid together. time to go into the sled. All right, in you go. Oh, stop it. Should have tightened that up more. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, come on. Oh, there you go. Oh, let's go. So, skid is in, we're bolted in, we're tight. I gotta retorque these or double check these ones. I just did them by hand real quick. Gotta make sure that they're tight. Front is done. Doing the track tension now. Everything is working out great. We're really close. I just gotta set my measurement side to side. The skid went in a little bit more difficult than the previous fitment times because I forgot to pick the sled up more. So I had more pressure on the front arm, which was throwing things off a little bit in terms of pulling this together, and just excited kind of oversight there. But everything is in. It all works. You just do, like I said, ratchet strap the top of the rear arm here forward to preload that thing, just like you have to do with the high gear when you do it into any Polaris sled. So that's all good. Yeah, like I said, track tension, outer wheels on. I have to source a bump stop for the back here. I think I have some on an old skid outside that's like an IGX skid. One of the SKS or non-premium versions have a taller bump stop that apparently these were designed for. The factory Polaris braces I have here on hand from a 2022 VR1 do not fit over the extrusion in the rail here. So that's kind of a bummer. I'll probably hit up Eric at One Rig and get some of his nice HD ones. They have a wider channel to fit over pretty much every extrusion that Polaris has made, and over the Ice Age ones as well. We'll deal with that down the road. But track tension, off we go. It's getting a little late. I'm gonna be right on the money for dinner, but we gotta set our tension here. It's pretty sweet that this thing is like almost dead nuts in the middle of the adjustment window here. Almost like it was meant to go in. Does it still do suspension things? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Skid's in, all set, good to go. I'm sure some of you will maybe some of you will post in the thing about it rebounded really fast. The rebound in the shock is dumped out right now. So we have all the adjustment of rebound control in the shock. This tunnel and everything is drastically lighter than the Polaris one. So we'll see. Also, it's on the ground, it's not on dollies, it's not dynamically moving through the snow. So there's a lot more static load on it right now. So we'll see how it all comes together. Again, big experiment, potentially big gamble here, but it's just some holes in the back arm or back tunnel thing if we want to take it out and go back to the other one. I'm out of here for the night, going to, like I said, the Snowmobile Club dinner thing, kickoff party. I'll put this back together tomorrow morning. I'll get it out on the snow. We got like 4 or 5 inches of snow. So I'll put it out there, take some pictures and whatnot, and then I'll blast it through the field and see how it goes. And then we'll be on to the turbo kit. But let's see what happens tomorrow through the field. First, I gotta go and baseline the rear suspension. This is essentially, keep looking up here because I just need my binder. Setup log binder here. This is essentially the same skid from my white and purple VR1. So not the same skid, but all the same components, same valving, all that stuff that worked really well in that thing. So I'm basically gonna baseline this to what I had in that and start from there because that worked really well. So should be a good starting point for that. Baseline the suspension in the back. Yeah, then reassemble tow holds, cowling, whatnot, and find a way to get it out of the shop and go test it. So on the flaps on these, if you have one of these, you're familiar, they're breaking off a lot. The rivets on the sides down here break, the head of the rivet breaks off, and then they're designed to pull away right here. These are slotted. So what I do, I drill and nutsert the bumper, put 2 big bolts in there, and then I drill all the way through this composite panel here and then nut and bolt with big flanged washers on the top there. And that seemed to be working pretty good. Quick couple 1/4 inch holes right here. And your nutserts, off you go. It looks at home in there. It doesn't even look weird.
Nervous, dude.
Nervous?
Oh, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Who knows? Only wheelies.
That's pretty sick.
The wheelie's pretty good.
It's doing everything I wanted it to do. That's sick, dude. Right, like, clutching's loaded pretty heavy because
Yeah.
it's all set up with the turbo stuff.
Yeah.
But like, yo, no way. I can't, like,
Looks like it lands perfect.
dude, it's so good. It's so good. Oh, man.
And it steers down around
Let's
there.
go! Yeah, it's like, it's doing everything I wanted it to do with like the Polaris skid, the way you let off the throttle and it settles the whole sled instead of nosing over. I mean, granted, this isn't great conditions for testing that stuff, but still, that's the initial feel, exactly like I was looking for.
Yep.
Ah, it's so cool. You gotta go try it. You gotta go try it. It sets you back. It pulls right back.
But it's like, it's manageable. It's
Yeah.
exactly what you want it to do.
It's really good.
Oh! There he goes again.
Oh, I'm over the moon. Dude,
That was really good.
it's so good. It's so good. Here you go.
noises, no clumps,
No, nothing.
bumps,
Just
no-
absolutely perfect. So good. Oh, let's go, dude.
Are our mounts still straight? Oh yeah. I mean, they can't move. Do you see the size of the washers I've got on those now?
No.
So I have the factory Polaris bushing, which is like about 1.125" flipped around so that the big wide surface is against our bracket.
Yeah.
And then I have these big, huge 30 mil washers on the other side. And then we have our big M8 support bolt. And then these ones. I don't know how it could bend that with all the rigidity that we've got in
It's
here
strong.
now.
The tunnel's stronger back there
Oh,
than
huge.
it was before from the
Huge.
factory.
Yeah, I can't believe it feels really good.
Yeah.
Like to be able to turn in that crap that well.
yeah,
and just
I was
be,
messing around down there and it still
be
just
like,
turns
yeah,
well.
that smooth and like planted, but then the Polaris fun factor that we wanted out of it.
Yep. The Pro Tangle's pretty
The
freaking
Pro
sweet
Tangle's
too.
kind of nasty.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, see how
That's
much
really
more now
good.
that we've got some snow under it and stuff?
Yeah.
Compared to like over there on the dry, all static.
Yeah.
And the slide's got some lube on them
Yep.
from the snow. I mean,
But it does not ride stiff or bottom or anything.
even over that crap and going
Anywhere.
into the hill, I never felt it pogo me off the seat, which again,
No, it didn't have
we're
rebound.
not in big trail junk.
Oh,
But still.
it's not smooth out there either.
Still, for an initial
Yep.
little blast around the field, I'm,
That
oh
was really
man.
good.
All right, so that's gonna wrap this one up. As usual, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the turbo kit install, which I'm gonna dig into once this thing kind of drips and thaws out, and we'll catch you in the next one.